Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. This segment's brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done and published to educate consumers, grow their businesses, and to leave a legacy. This is a series of spotlights on remarkable exit planning advisors from across the country. And joining me on this segment is Paul Pappageorge. He's the founder of Ashland Capital Advisors. Paul, welcome to the program.
Morning, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about your work, and please tell us specifically who are the types of clients that you specialize in working with.
Sure. My company, Ashland Capital, has two divisions. One's a brokerage division, and the other one is the exit planning division, which is called Exit View. And what Exit View is about learning and education. It's about getting entrepreneurs to be armed and ready to make a strategic plan for the one day when they will sell their company. You know, the Exit Planning Institute does an annual survey known as the Owner Readiness Survey. And while 85% of business owners know or they embrace the notion that they should have some sort of planning in this area, only about 17% actually have any kind of planning. And even a fraction of only those have a written plan with sort of a keen understanding of where they're going. So we just feel like you're going to do these activities eventually one day when you sell your company. We just like to do them early so we can do something with that information rather than just sort of being at the whims of the market at the time we want to sell. So that's the essence of why we do what we do.
Yeah, I wanted to do this series because it seems like few business owners really think about that phase of exiting their business. They're always thinking growth. Is that the cause? Like what causes people not to even realize that they need to get this in order?
No, they realize it. But if you
just procrastinate it, perhaps?
Well, here's what happens is that your business, your day-to-day business, pursuing sales, executing on volume, those are what I call demand activities. They have to be done. If they're not done, you're leaving money on the table. Doing things like strategy and planning or exit planning, any of those kinds of more mindful, planful activities are what I call planned activities. And demand activities will always take over planned activities if you let them. So people just get into a habit of always just feeling like they're doing a great job in their business if they do all the demand activities, when really they could be going down sort of the wrong road in their business because they're just doing, right? Instead of doing a little bit of planning and doing a lot of doing. So I can tell you that when people go through an exit planning process, they feel empowered about their business. And that feeling of calmness or awareness or having a strategy, like where am I going with the thing, can be really powerfully beneficial for a business owner. It's just another layer of ownership maturity is what I would say.
Do business owners know what the exit planning process looks like? Or can you tell us a little bit about, what's the role of the exit planning advisor like yourself and,
right.
and what does the process look like?
Right. Every exit planner might have their own version of an exit plan, but basically what it is, it's a period of discovery about what's the nature of your business, what's it worth and why. Then we'll talk about your personal life plan. So if you've got little kids and you're 38 years old, maybe you don't need to sell this business for a while. But if you're 66 years old and your kids are all grown and you want to go to Florida or somewhere, your timeline is going to be different. So in the second phase of exit planning, we try to understand how your personal life cycle is meshing up with your business life cycle. And we answer the question, how long do we have to run the business? And when is the right time to exit? Both financially, operationally, personally, all those things come together into a focus. And then we lay down some strategic objectives depending on your horizon. If you're going to sell your company in 6 months, my recommendations would be very different than if you were selling in 3 years. And then once we lay down that plan, we work on it together. And we're not the expert. You're the expert. The business owner is the expert. We're just here to facilitate and to get them to understand what they're doing with their business in a more succinct way, right? And then once we lay down a plan, we come back and visit periodically and say, hey, how are you doing on the plan? How's this or this? I mean, plans are meant to be changed, right? They never stay the same. So we evolve the plan over time.
You have a unique position in the fact that you do exit planning and broker businesses, so you get to see the result. And I've read a study that showed that as much as 80% of businesses that go on the market go unsold. Is that cause from lack of exit planning, or what is the cause of a business to go unsold?
I would say the number one reason is poor accounting. Bad books, number one sin. Second sin might be that their business doesn't make any money, really. Maybe it's not even making a profit. Honestly, when you finally, factor in all the different pieces of the business, not having an inflated understanding of what the business might be worth is a huge reason why businesses don't get sold. The seller might say, well, it's worth $1 million when really it's worth 100,000. So sometimes they pull it off the market. Another very important reason that businesses might not get sold is the reliance of that business on a single person. Let's say the owner. If he or she's doing everything, that can be pretty scary for a buyer. And some businesses, even ones that are not small, who are doing a couple $1 million, can still have that over reliance on the owner operator. My number one recommendation to people is to try to get yourself out of the day-to-day of your business, to work on your business, not in your business. That's the phrase we like to use. So those are the big three: bad accounting, lack of profitability, and having expectations set.
Paul, what inspired you to get into this field and help folks sell their businesses and help them with their exit plans? How did you get started?
I sold a business that I owned in 2004. And that process was so exciting. It was in Chicago. It was an industrial laundry. And I sold it to the Aramark Corporation. And I handled the entire transaction. Probably shouldn't have done that, but I did. But I loved it. I just enjoyed the whole process. And I began to get involved in strategy and planning across a broad spectrum of industries. And that led quite naturally to mergers and acquisition or brokerage activity. And my thing is I like the creative energy that goes into selling a company, because no two companies are the same, even in the same industry or even in the same franchise, for example. And I just like that creative juice that comes out of the process of learning about someone's business, understanding where the owner's head is at, figuring out how we're going to get out, how we're going to sell this company one day, and then do it. And then when it's over, it's over. And we do something else. I just love that sort of, creative short-term kind of energy. I used to be involved in theater as a kid in high school, and I used to love that because we used to practice and make sets and rehearse and then have the show, and the show's over and we move on. Same thing in business brokerage and exit planning. We work, we plan, we get things rolling, we get ready to exit, we exit. Okay, it's over. Let's go do something else now.
Right on. Paul, before I ask you my last question, is there anything that I didn't think to ask you that you feel is important to share in regards to exit planning for business owners that are considering exiting now or in the future?
I would say the last thing I would say is that people might say, well, what about the money? Is it an expensive process? And frankly, it's not. If you ever sell a company, your broker is going to say, okay, we're going to sell the company and we're going to charge you a fee. It's a percentage usually. 7, 8, 9, 10%, depends on the size of the company. At that time, they're also probably going to ask you for some sort of a work commencement fee, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to get rolling, just so we know you're committed to the sale process. That's about as much as we charge doing an exit planning engagement. So it's sort of a pay us now or pay us later. I mean, you're no more dollars out, but you have the information that's operational maybe years before. So there's not a strong financial reason why you wouldn't want to be doing exit planning, and the benefits of it are so tremendous. You'd be, to me, I don't know how anyone could just bumble along not understanding where they're going with the business, and we empower people to not do that.
Great insight. Paul, for business owners listening that would like to speak with you, how can they find you, connect with you, and learn more?
Sure. You can find me on multiple places. On LinkedIn, Paul Pappageorge. That's Pappageorge. I think I'm the only Paul Pappageorge. Maybe there's one more guy. You can also go to my website, which is www.ashcap. That's for Ashland Capital, ASHCAP.com. There you can read about our approach to brokerage and our exit planning division, Exit View. If you're interested to call, feel free. Our number is 940-394-8843 or 940-EXIT VIEW. And I look forward to speaking to you. Thanks.
This has been terrific. I really appreciate you taking the time to share with my audience today, and I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
Thanks, Mark. Have a great day.
That was Paul Pappageorge. He's the founder of Ashland Capital Advisors. And this segment was brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done and published to educate consumers, grow their businesses, and to leave a legacy. That's all for now. I'm Mark Imperial, and thanks for joining me.